Welcome to another episode of KidVentures TV. My name is Laurana, and today I'm coming to you from my backyard where we are going to learn a little bit about the Great Depression. Why? Well, first, I have to do a project for school. And second, because we are isolated for COVID-19 right now. So we can't go exploring outside. But some things that are happening right now are similar to the things that happened during the Great Depression. Hopefully we remember the lessons from that desperate era and won't be repeating them this time around. The Great Depression refers to a 10-year period that began in 1929 when the national and even global economy crashed. During this period, more than 30% of people were out of work. Businesses and banks failed, and many people were homeless and starving. While the majority of people were okay, the numbers of those suffering was a lot more than had been seen before. The second question? Well, it certainly was not great like fun. The great part refers to the magnitude of the depression. It impacted a lot of people, spread beyond just the US, and it lasted for a long time. To understand economic depressions, we need to understand how economies work. You see, our economy works a lot like the water cycle. Just like water evaporation, condensation, and precipitation, money flows in much the same way. Companies produce goods, people buy the goods, companies pay employees, and produce more goods, and the cycle continues. The faster money moves through the system, the healthier the economy. But when it slows or stops, that's when we get into trouble. During the Great Depression, the flow of money stopped for a large portion of society. As one part of the money flow stopped, it caused other parts to slow or stop, much like dominoes falling one after another. In this day of COVID-19, we are seeing some similar things. See if any of these dominoes sound familiar. Domino 1, stock market crash. While most people think the stock market crash was the beginning of the Great Depression, there were several conditions that brought it about. World War I ended and spending slowed down. Investors sold off their stocks at an alarming rate and the prices of stock tanked. For some people, this meant the loss of their businesses, life savings, their homes, everything. Domino 2. Overproduction. Farms and factories had already been producing too much for people to buy. With the stock market crash, fewer people had money to spend. When there is more supply for something than demand for it, the price must drop. So businesses make less money. Have you noticed how the price of gas has dropped for us recently? Good for us, but not for the oil companies. Domino 3. Bank failures. Did you know that the money we put in the banks gets loaned out and invested? That is how banks make money. Just like people, banks had invested in the stock market and they lost a lot of money. So when people wanted to get their money from the banks, there was no cash for the bank to give them. Their money was gone. Thousands of banks closed. So their customers had nothing, and all the bank employees didn't either. Domino 4. Decrease in spending. With the bank failures, about 1/3 of the nation lost all their savings. That meant they had no money to buy anything. When people don't spend money, businesses cannot earn money. So businesses either make less or close altogether. During COVID-19, Only essential businesses like food and healthcare remain open. Other businesses have been closed for health safety. This leads us to our next domino. Domino number 5, unemployment. Without paying customers, businesses have no work for their employees and have no way to pay employees. So as businesses slow down and many close, there are more and more people out of work with no way to buy things. For example, people stop buying cars. This puts car salesmen out of work. Car factories slowed production and laid off auto workers. The same sort of problems are occurring with COVID-19. Many businesses are closed. They do not have any customers paying them for work, so they have to lay off employees. This means more people have no money to buy things they need and want. Can you see how a slow money cycle kills the economy? During the Great Depression, there were a number of other dominoes that fell. Too much credit meant money was too easy to borrow. With so many people losing their jobs, they could not pay back the loans. This was part of the reason banks failed too. The Dust Bowl was another domino. Growing the same crops year after year depleted the soil. And when a drought came, there was no way to grow crops. Farmers fled the Midwest looking for work, and food production slowed down. The exchange of goods with other countries was taxed so much, international trade was cut in half. Think about that. What would we not be able to purchase if goods from other countries could not make it to the U.S.? How much money would we miss if other countries did not buy U.S. products? All this and many other dominoes brought the economy crashing down, and many, many people lived in terrible conditions as a result. This went on for about a decade. Presidents Hoover and Roosevelt tried different strategies to help the nation's economy recover. And while each strategy may have helped in some ways, they all created other problems. Eventually, it seemed that another war, World War II, got people and factories busy again, and got the money cycle of the economy precipitating again, as everyone united to defend liberty. The lessons our nation learned from the Great Depression are really important. Those generations learned the value of self-reliance and preparing for tough times. Some of the agencies and social policies developed during this era remain in place today as a type of safety net to prevent such a situation again. For example, the Social Security program provides support to certain people with little or no income. And the Federal Depositors Insurance Corporation ensures the money you put in the bank will be there even if banks lose money on their investments. Thanks for joining me on this KidVenture today. While the Great Depression was a sad time for many people, it is important to understand why it happened so we can prepare ourselves to avoid something like it in the future. What will you do to ensure your future is more secure, so the falling dominoes won't knock you over? Oh, dang it. Thanks for watching.